All right, welcome back everyone for another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling something, reasons to fight for your marriage.
Okay. Right, it's not just about like weathering the storm, it's like what do you actually get out of that?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And so one of the first things that the excerpt talks about is this power of shared history. And I know we've all heard like, oh, you've been together for so long. But it frames it in a way that's like more than just time. Right?
Yeah.
It's not just about the number of years.
Oh, absolutely. And I think what the excerpt is getting at is that, you know, when you've been with someone for a significant amount of time, you build this like incredible foundation together. You have all these shared experiences.
Yeah.
Inside jokes, memories, you know, you've kind of seen each other at your best and your worst,
Yeah.
and you've come through it together.
That's so true. Like when you think about like a specific memory that really like captures your relationship, I bet you it's something that is so intertwined with that shared history.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you can't just like replicate that with somebody new.
Can't just fast forward that.
Exactly.
That's something that's built.
Yeah, and speaking of building something, the excerpt goes on to talk about like the impact on children.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, when I first read that, I was like, oh, here we go again.
Right.
Like the stay together for the kids argument.
Yeah.
But then it took a really interesting turn.
Yeah.
It wasn't saying like you have to stay together no matter what for the kids.
Yeah.
It was more about like how you handle challenges.
As parents can actually be beneficial for the kids, which I thought was really fascinating.
It is. It's like they're getting this firsthand look at how to navigate conflict in a healthy way.
Yeah, it's like showing them, hey, disagreements happen. Even mom and dad disagree sometimes.
Right.
But it's about like how you work through it. You know, it's like giving them a blueprint for a healthy relationship.
Yeah, it's like imagine, you're arguing about finances.
Which, let's be real, a lot of couples do.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. But instead of like screaming and yelling at each other, you sit down, you make a budget, you compromise.
Right.
And the kids see that. They see that you can work through tough stuff as a team.
Exactly. And that's such a valuable lesson for them to learn.
Absolutely. And that kind of ties into another point the excerpt makes, which is that love evolves. You know, we always hear about those like honeymoon phase fireworks.
Right, the butterflies.
Yeah, and the excerpt is basically saying like, okay, that fades.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it's over.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious, like what does the excerpt say about that long-term love?
So the excerpt talks about how that passionate love, those fireworks you were talking about, that naturally transforms over time into what's called companionate love. And companionate love is characterized by this deep intimacy, commitment, and affection.
Okay.
And the excerpt argues that this type of love, which is based on understanding, respect, and choosing to be together every day,
Yeah.
it's actually more enduring and meaningful.
So it's like that initial spark
Yeah,
kind of lays the foundation for a different kind of fire.
exactly. It's a deeper, more sustainable fire.
I like that. And one thing that I think we all need to be reminded of is that none of us are perfect.
No, absolutely.
Like we all have our flaws.
We're all a work in progress.
Exactly. And the excerpt uses this to encourage self-reflection.
Right.
It's like before you point the finger at your partner
Right.
and, list out all their flaws, take a look in the mirror. Like, have you communicated your needs? Are you seeing things from their perspective?
Have you tried to understand where they're coming from?
Yeah, because it's so easy to get caught up
Yeah.
in what they're doing wrong that we forget to look at our own role in the whole thing.
It's like we have these blind spots when it comes to our own behavior.
Yeah, for sure. And that brings us to what I thought was like the most powerful part of the whole excerpt.
Okay.
And that is that the pain of regret is heavier than the pain of repair.
Oh, it's a good one.
I know, right? It really makes you think
It does.
because it's so easy to romanticize like starting over.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, if I just find someone new, everything will be perfect.
It'll be a clean slate.
Right. But the excerpt is reminding us like every relationship has its challenges.
It's not going to be a fairy tale.
Exactly. So it's like you have to weigh that potential regret of giving up too soon against the work of actually like healing and rebuilding.
Because sometimes the strongest relationships are the ones that have gone through those tough times and come out stronger on the other side.
Yeah, it's like anything worth having takes work.
Exactly.
So maybe the work of repairing is worth it.
It's something to consider for sure.
It is. And I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
If you could go back to the beginning of your relationship, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your younger self? Think about that.
That's a good one.
See you next time.